Hi everyone, my name's Karen and I'm a personal trainer based in Melbourne, Australia. I've been personal training for over 20 years now, and one of the favourite pieces of equipment in my outdoor toolbox is the PowerTube from PTPFIT.com. The equipment from PTPFIT is top quality. Today I'm using a medium resistance PowerTube, and I'm going to take you through all the different exercises that you can do using the PowerTube. We're going to work through all the various muscle groups, and I'm starting with biceps. So I'm starting with the basic bicep curls with either 1 foot on the band or 2 feet to create a little bit more resistance. So it just depends on the strength of the band that you're using. Standard bicep curls, the palms are facing up, elbows are locked into the rib cage, knees are soft, chest is up, and core is tight. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. So it's out as you lift, in on the way down, and a big breath out as you lift. Changing the grip over, we're going to do neutral grip bicep curls. So the palms are now facing in toward each other, but otherwise everything is the same. The beauty of the PTPFIT bands are their handlebars, and you can change them accordingly to make it more comfortable for you to grip. Same positioning there with the legs, and knees are nice and soft. Shoulders down and relaxed, elbows stay in close to the body. You can do close grip curls by combining the handlebars together. Again, finding the right resistance by either having both feet or 1 foot on the band. Keep those elbows tucked in close to the body and using both hands together to add resistance and pull that band up. Again, notice soft knees, creating the resistance by using the feet. And similarly, we're going to move into wide grip curls now. So I've got both feet on the band to add more resistance. Elbows stay tucked into the ribs, but the hands are placed further out. That's the wide grip curls there. When using the band with clients, it's nice to mix things up doing tension exercises. So this means that one arm is holding the position while the other arm works through the move, and then you alternate. So here you can see the tension bicep curls where I'm holding the bicep curl in position up close to my chest and allowing the other arm to move. Just keeps things interesting and adds that extra resistance. Next, I'm moving into reverse grip bicep curls. So the palms are facing down. Everything else again is the same. Elbows locked into the rib cage. Knees are nice and soft. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, keeping the neck and shoulders relaxed. Cross body curls are next. The elbows stay locked into the rib cage, and this time we're pulling the band up and across to the opposite chest. Next, we're moving into one of my favorite exercises using the band, and this is the squatting preacher curls. You're adding enough resistance to the band so that you can squat down, and then using both arms with the elbows pushed into the knees to mimic the preacher curl. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, and you'll notice that you'll also get a great glute workout at the same time. Great for hip flexors, for stretching out through your inner thighs, and really isolating those biceps. Similar to the preacher curls, we're going to stay in that low squat position, but this is the concentration curl where we can only work one arm at a time. So with a little bit of length on the band, we're going to pull it across our foot and lock the elbow into the knee with the opposite arm, adding that resistance to the band, focusing on one arm, one bicep, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, again in your squat position. So this is the concentration curl. Great way to isolate that bicep. So getting lower and lower, we are now going to be on our knees for the kneeling bicep curls. Adding enough resistance to the band, keeping the elbows locked in, a basic bicep curl here. It's a great way to continue working your biceps if you're doing exercises on the ground and you don't want to come all the way up into a standing position. So for quick changes, this is a great option. If you're wanting to stay down low and add more resistance to the band for your bicep curls, you can move into the neutral grip by just holding on to the actual rubber of the PowerTube. And last but not least, we're going to go all the way down, lying on our backs for the final exercise here. Wrap the band around the feet. Be careful that it doesn't flick off. lying all the way back in a controlled manner with the elbows pressed into the ground and into the rib cage, working the biceps in this position. Requires more core control as well to control that band from not flicking over. All right, so here we go. We are moving into chest exercises using the power tube now. This is a basic chest press. Needing to add more resistance, you might need to wrap the rubber around your hands, and this is the incline press. I'll show you some other ways that we can continue working the chest using the band, making sure that you get enough resistance. I've doubled the band over my hands here and working with tension. So in the chest press position, we're just going to move one arm at a time while there is pressure applied to the other arm. This is also a great way to work the upper part of the chest. If you wrap the band underneath the glutes, almost in a squatting position, this will also get clients using their glutes, using their core, and you'll get more resistance out of the band without having to worry about the grip. Next, we're moving into upper chest hex press with the arms out wide, keeping those elbows slightly bent. We're pushing up and across the body. So really focusing on the pecs here, and the band again was wrapped under the glutes. Moving into a bench press, making sure you've got enough resistance. Again, you might need to wrap the band around your hands one extra time and pressing up, making sure you've got enough resistance, core working, back nice and flat. Moving into push-ups, we can wrap the band around the upper part of the back. Add extra resistance to the band by bringing the hands in nice and close on the band and pushing up, adding that resistance with the band on the back. And once your client fatigues with the push-ups, a great way to continue working the chest is just in the kneeling position. Once again, repeating the chest press here and also working it as an upper chest press. So you'll need to wrap that band around for extra resistance, and that's a great way to max out the pec muscles following a set of push-ups. Moving into back exercises now. One of my favorite muscle groups to work, we're starting with the bent over row, adding enough resistance to the band, nice and flat with the back hinging at the hips, making sure there's enough resistance as we squeeze the shoulder blades together. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Moving into reverse flies. If you hold onto that band fairly close together, make sure there's the right resistance for you, opening the arms up, opening the chest up, and feeling your scapula rotate and pull in toward each other. Imagine you're trying to squeeze something between your shoulder blades. Next, we're moving into the bent over reverse fly. This will be a hard one to do if you do have a tight band there. So just going as far as you can, and again, focusing on the shoulder blades, lifting through the lats, keeping the core nice and tight. It'll be a lot easier for your clients to do a single arm bent over fly because you can add a little bit more length to the band. So focusing on one arm at a time is also going to really work their core. The next exercise is a single arm row, and this is also a great way for your clients to work their lats, making sure that you've got the right resistance for them. They can really focus on one arm at a time and working their core as well. Face pull, great exercise for working the upper part of the back, your traps. And again, just be careful that that band doesn't fly off and flick you or your client in the face. So the palms are pulling straight up toward the forehead, palms are facing down, keeping the core nice and tight. Basic row from a seated position as well. So knees are nice and soft here, chest is up, and again, squeezing the shoulder blades together by pulling using your lats. And And the last back exercise that I've got for you here is a single arm pull over. Getting into position is a little bit tricky. You need to wrap that band around your wrist and tuck it under your head to keep it nice and tight, making sure you've got enough resistance there. So holding on to it firmly so that you can pull straight down from the back all the way down the side of your body. And using your lats to pull, so making sure you've got enough resistance there for the pullover. Let's move into legs, starting off with our first exercise being squats. Finding enough resistance here, pulling the band up to lock into the shoulders, dropping down, elbows to the knees, and feeling that resistance as you push back up through the squat, making sure your heels are pressed into the ground, making sure you're sitting back and hinging at the hips. Sitting back, core nice and tight, chest up, breathing in through the nose and out as you come up. In through the nose on the way down and out as you come up, slow and controlled. Next is the deadlift, and you'll need to make sure that you've got enough resistance on the band for the deadlift. So bringing the handlebars together, tuck them in as close as you can, and dropping down, hinging at the hips again, pulling up through the band and squeezing the glutes for the deadlift. Let's take a closer look at the technique of the deadlift there. Soft in the knee, hinging at the hips, core tight. Let's move on to the next exercise. Lunges, again, bringing the handlebars straight up to the shoulders, adding as much resistance as you can to the band. Knee remains above the ankle, sitting back into the back leg, pressing up through the thigh. Keep the arms in nice and close, nice and tight and controlled. We're going to move into curtsy lunges next. So again, bringing the bands up to the shoulders and stepping back, repeating the same leg. It's hard to do alternating legs using the band, so we need to focus on one leg at a time, repeating the curtsy lunge with the same leg. The sumo squat, the legs are going to be out wide, adding lots of resistance to the handles, but you'll need to bring those handlebars together in order to get enough resistance, especially as you come up through the squat. So dropping down into the inner thighs, pulling up and squeezing, adding that resistance as you pull up and pull through the band. Making sure that you press into your heels, and especially as you come up, pause at the bottom, press into the heels and come up slowly. Take your time. Next is a challenging exercise for intermediate to advanced, and it's a single leg deadlift. So you'll be standing on the band, holding onto the handlebars at the shoulder height, and taking your time to control and balance as you hinge at the hips into the single leg deadlift. Thigh abductions are next. Pulling the bar up for enough resistance there and balancing on one leg as you abduct through the other leg. Glute kickbacks, one of my favorite exercises. Holding onto the band directly underneath the shoulders, pressing through the heel as you lift that knee and kick back. And for the last two exercises, this is a close stance goblet squat. So you'll hold on to the handlebars as though you're holding onto a dumbbell for your regular goblet squats. And the close stance, feet are close together. Be sure that the knees don't come in. Breathing in on the way down and out as you lift. Again, we're hinging at the hips, keeping your chest up and your back nice and straight. Trying to get down as low as you can with the glutes, pressing into the heels. And lastly, for legs, I have lunges to the side for you. Side lunges here. Enough resistance on the band, holding onto the handlebars, lunging to the side, leaning to the side for your side lunge. And you'll feel that pressure there as you come up and need to pull into the handlebars, engaging your core and working through the legs. And the next body part we're going to work is triceps. We're going to start with the overhead tricep press. So you need to stand on the band at a level that you feel comfortable with, so that you can then lift and press above the head with one handlebar. So I've got both hands holding onto that handlebar there, getting 90 degrees in my elbows, and then pressing up and squeezing into the triceps for the overhead press. We can then move into a single arm press. So the same thing, but just focusing on one arm doing the work. So I've got my right hand on my hip there to assist me with my balance, and I'm focusing on one arm at a time. Standing tricep kickback. So there's a hinge at the hips again, and using both arms, elbows locked into the rib cage, pushing back, trying to straighten out those arms to get into the triceps. This is kickbacks with tension. So similar to the bicep curls or the chest press, we kick back into the kickback position and then let one arm move at a time. The position of the lying tricep press is quite similar to the overhead straight arm pull downs that we did for the back exercise. You'll need to hold onto the band with one hand, and with a small amount of length, we're going to keep the elbow locked into the head and extend that arm, again pushing up and out into the tricep. Next is a single arm kickback. So you'll see that I'm holding onto the band with one hand, and again with a little bit of length on the band, I'm extending and kicking back. So it's a single arm kickback, and you just need to make sure that you've got the right amount of resistance there again. Tricep push-ups are coming up next, and similarly to the basic push-ups that we did for our chest exercise, the band is around the lower part of the back or the upper part of the back, and our hands are going to apply pressure to the band at the right level of resistance. The difference between regular push-ups and tricep push-ups are that the hands are closer together and the elbows stay close to the rib cage. Moving into shoulders. Lateral raises. So again, if you need more resistance, you could put both feet on the band, but this band is quite tight and I am struggling here. We don't need to lift the arms any higher than shoulder height. So I'm going to release the band slightly and then focus on one arm at a time. For the single arm lateral raises, I've given a little bit more length here so I can get that little bit higher. Using your core, control, moving into the other side easily. Raises are next, so the palms are facing down and the arms are straight. Lifting both arms out in front of the body. You could alternate this if you wanted to. Breathing in and out. The upright row is next. You can see the palms are facing into the body. It's really important to let the elbows lead the way, and also not to let your wrist hyperextend or bend too much. I've changed the positioning of the band. I've crisscrossed it over to add a little bit more resistance there, and you could use both feet or one foot depending on how much resistance you need. This is the upright row with tension. So again, we've pulled up into the upright row and then we're releasing one arm at a time. So leaving lots of tension there in the shoulders as we lift. This next exercise is a great way to challenge your client's coordination or your coordination. It is a little bit tricky with this band again because it is quite a tight resistance band, but a great challenge nonetheless. Front and side raises. This is the single arm Y. So if I was doing this with dumbbells tilted forward on a bench, I'm able to replicate that using one arm with the resistance of the band pulling up and across the body. Let's move into the shoulder press now. I've got the band behind my back and I'm holding it on the band for extra resistance. Obviously, if I hold it by the handles, there won't be enough resistance. I can work the shoulders with the shoulder press by adding tension to the exercise. So I'm again folding up the band so that I get extra resistance there, and the shoulder press with tension. I move into the shoulder press position, first part of the exercise, and then I remove one arm at a time, alternating arms, keeping the pressure in the shoulder muscle, the tension in the shoulder for the shoulder press with tension. And as you can see here, I've got my arms slightly forward. So if you can, press straight up to the sky. But for me, it was a little bit uncomfortable having the band under my arms and pressing straight up to the sky. Moving into a kneeling shoulder press. So this time I can actually put the band under my knees and get lots of resistance pressing up to the sky. And by securing the band under my knees, I'm able to press straight up to the sky. So you can see the difference here. Again, you could also do the kneeling shoulder press with tension and alternate one arm at a time. If you look closely for the shrugs coming up now, I've actually pulled the band up between my feet so that there's plenty more resistance when I pull with my arms and lift my shoulders up to replicate shrugs. Normally you'll be using heavy dumbbells in the gym here, so you need to get as much resistance as you can on that band. And I've just changed the handle position here to create more resistance again. Not as comfortable, but still a great way to work the shoulders and traps in the shrug exercise. And for the final body part in this series, I'm going to take you through some abdominal exercises that can be done with the power tube. I'm going to start with the side bend. So making sure that you have enough resistance, focusing on one side. I've got my hand on my hip, and I am dropping down, reaching down my thigh and then pulling up and squeezing in through the abdominals, keeping the core nice and tight. You can also lift the hand up to your head and pull that elbow down on the opposite side. So really getting as much range of motion as you can and engaging your abs. So the setup for the abdominal exercises are a little bit more tricky. I'm moving into the wood chop now. And you need to find the right amount of tension on the band so that you can go from low to high with this wood chop and pulling across the body. There's a slight swivel happening with the free foot, but otherwise you're stabilizing and locking that band down with the main leg there. Full rotation, almost 180 degrees. Turn and look from side to side, 180 degrees. Next, we're going to move into crunches. Wrapping the band under the feet to get nice and comfortable, lifting the chin up to the chest, and just holding the band there so that you can get up a little bit higher, and you actually find the band might help you to get higher than you've been able to in the past, and you might be able to get all the way up into a full sit-up. So showing you now how you can come all the way up, keeping your chin tucked into the chest, rolling up slowly vertebrae by vertebrae. Take your time coming down, breathing out as you lift and in on the way down. Try not to let the arms do too much of the work here. Really focus on engaging your abs. Breathe out on the way up, in on the way down. Going to move into the Russian twist now. So we've got the handlebars together, and depending on your level of ability, you might lean back only a quarter of the way, perhaps halfway or 3/4 of the way. And we're rotating those arms from side to side, again about 180 degrees. Turn and look, following the arm in the direction that it rotates. Deep breaths and squeezing through the abdominals. You can challenge yourself by elevating the legs. That will make it a lot harder, obviously, to balance, and more intense on your abdominals. If you'd like to focus on the oblique, we're going to do an oblique twist here where I'm focusing on one side. So just repeating from straight ahead and across to one side, a repeater. And here you can see I'm demonstrating the oblique twist, but focusing on the other side, and I've got the band only wrapped around one of my feet this time. So you can have a little play with that and see which one is more comfortable for you. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it's given you lots of ideas of exercises that you can do with the Power Tube from PTPFIT.com. Please make sure you're following my page and feel free to leave a message below. Thanks so much.